It is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker today. He is a consultant and evaluator for K-12 Philippine Basic Education, the curriculum and academic consultant of Sisters of Mary. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Brother Roderick M. Aguirre.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again for a week-long learning about. This time it's more of co-curricular programs for our students. In the past few months, in the past few weeks, we've been talking about how we can provide our students with the curricular support while they're learning at home via online platforms and via modular approach and all other activities that we can think of to uh, support and scaffold the learning of our students at home via the support and involvement of the parents and the primary caregivers. But this time around, we're going to talk about other support programs of the school to the students' total and holistic development. And I think what's happening right now in the Philippines is that where all teachers and all schools and educators for that matter are all focused and giving all their attention and effort on providing our students with the necessary materials that will be the modules for distance individualized modular instruction and materials for online learning. But I think there's also one part of the learning process, not just the academic and curricular programs for our students. I know that we are already so stressed and full of responsibilities and tasks in order to meet the requirements of being able to deliver our learning materials to our students. But it is one of our responsibilities as a school to provide our students with an outlet for them to be able to hone all other skills that are not just academic, but also their interests and their skills. And that being said, that will be our topic for this afternoon. And let me share to you my PowerPoint presentation. Here we go. Okay, okay. And I would like to apologize for in advance. I'm experiencing a mild sore throat right now, and I think I'm having difficulty talking and speaking. Yes, I'm at this state of being right now. I do am having difficulty talking, and there's a possibility that that's why I'm trying to slow down so that my throat won't that be exhausted because my time. This is not necessarily a primary responsibility for schools. Right now, it is a secondary responsibility. And I'm hoping that as we go through the school year, this school year during the pandemic, is that we will be able to at least be able to help our students hone other skills aside from just the curricular skills. And that's why my subtitle for this afternoon session is Striking a Balance Between Schooling and Education. And this afternoon, we're going to distinguish and understand what is the difference between schooling and education. Because when we say curricular, we're talking about schooling, and we're talking about when we talk about co-curricular programs of our students, we're talking about striking a balance between schooling and education. All right. And let me share to you our outline for this afternoon. So we will have again as my regular flow for my presentation, and will be more interactive as we go along. Of course, for the September, I added identification and busting myths. But this time, it focused on student organizations and student clubs and interest clubs. And then after that, we're going to of our students at school and how we can do that via online or distance education. And then I will entertain questions afterwards. So if you have questions along the way, do not hesitate to key in your questions on the comments box below. And do not also hesitate to give your clarifications. And be please do not hesitate to say thank you very much or for commenting on things that you have takeaways on our session for this afternoon. So we do appreciate your comments, and so that these comments will also our basis for providing and do research on how we can help you with other topics that we can provide you in the future. So do not hesitate to key in your comments in the comments box below. And definitely afterwards, I'll be as usual. I will tie loose ends and then I'll post some challenges for all of us as teachers and caregivers and parents and school administrators on the topic on co-curricular programs and its importance to the total development of our students. So let's begin. So now I tried to identify three myths that most teachers and parents alike have about student organizations and student interests and basically education and schooling in general. And so these are the top three most common statements and common belief system of educators and parents and people in the community have about education. Let's begin with the first statement. A lot of people would say that teachers are the most important influence on the learner's education and that no one can take away the importance of the presence of the teacher to the total education of our students. This is a myth. In fact, I believe that we would know that our students have been educated if they do not need our teachers anymore. I believe that our teachers is one of the, but it's not a primary influence of our students' education society. Ha! I said a lot, and that's only statement number one. Therefore, statement number one, ladies and gentlemen, let's say all together is busted. So we do not want to accept this totally. The teachers are the most important influence on what's the word again? On a learner's education. Mm-hmm. All right, let's have statement number two. Statement number two says, wait, I busted it without an explanation at all. A successful program works everywhere. There is what's happening right now with one school to another is that one school would be able to see that the other schools are doing some programs and it works well for students. And what they do is they a good sleep for the past 2 days because of lots of work. But I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. And right now I'm experiencing sore throat, a mild sore throat though, and I already took medication so that it would not progress into something that I don't want it to progress into. Uh, this is what I call in theater arts as the show must go on. And as a teacher, even if whatever we're feeling, we put it aside and then do our responsibility. That's what's happening right now. I'm still talkative. I was born talkative, and I think I'm gonna die being talkative. But I love talking to you guys out there, and I hope that you have comments later on so that this will be basis for us to understand each other. And the last segment, stop talking, Aguirre. I'm talking to myself. Let's finish introduction. Statement number three says zero tolerance policies are making schools safer. Like no violence will be acceptable and so on and so forth. Lots of research, not just in the United States, but in Europe and Australia and Canada, of schools have implemented zero tolerance policies, not just in their classrooms, but in all school programs, be it curricular or curricular, that if students have violated some of the school's no violence, zero tolerance policy on violence, some students are expelled. And in fact, some of the students are happy that they get out of the classroom because they are so bored of the classroom. That's why most of them are resorting to this violation of school rules, skills acquisition, but all other aspects like socialization skills, collaborative skills, self-identity development, may not be taken care of by the classroom teachers. And I suppose through the curricular programs, that would be our student published article about the difference between schooling and education. A lot of people, teachers alike, just do not know the difference between schooling and education. And I would like us to know now, what are we doing? Are we schooling our students or our educating our students? The K to 12 program. The K to 12 program, my gosh, my tongue and my throat really hurts. Tingnan natin kung mas okay siguro kung Tagalog, mas mahirap, bumabaloktot ang dila. The K to 12 program wants us to educate our students to become holistic developed with the 21st century, holistic developed individuals with the 21st century skills. With the word holistic, there's the idea of schooling and education that we would like our students to experience, that would be education, and be able to acquire the necessary knowledge and skills that would be schooling. But the teachers, where students can find an avenue for them to actualize the things that they're learning from the curricular programs that will be the subject areas. So let me share this to you. Voila. I have my friends here, my colleagues here would like to explain to us the difference between schooling, and I would like to call my colleague Edward and Elena. So Edward will explain to us what schooling is, and Elena will tell us what education is all about. So let's look at one aspect of schooling. Schooling is about, Edward says that schooling is all about meeting the standards and expected learning. Elena will tell us what education is all about. So let's look at one aspect of schooling. Schooling is about, Edward says that schooling is all about meeting the standards and expected learning outcomes set in the curriculum. Therefore, we want our students to use this material so that they will meet the standards and expected learning outcomes set by the curriculum, and we cannot get away from it. Is schooling good? Yes, schooling is good. But Elena says, but education should be integrated in schooling because it is about inspiring the mind, not filling the head. So what we can do now is, if you want to strike a balance, according to this article, if you want to strike a balance between schooling and education so that students will not get bored by just schooling, and they get to realize the importance of schooling because they get to be educated, that the things that they learn from the curriculum are the things that they need for real life tasks and responsibilities. So what we can do, according to Elena and according to my colleague Edward and Elena, said to strike a balance between schooling and education is that, yes, let's use the standards and learning outcomes from the curriculum, but the examples and the outcomes and the tasks that we are going to provide to our students and require them to do should be real life tasks to inspire their mind. So, there you go. So, wag lang hypothetical daw. So, magagawa po tayo ng mga sa kanilang mga interest. Okay? Next, Edward says that schooling is graduating, meaning may natatapos. So may mga key stages. K to 12, it's graduating. So we have stages. We have 3 stages. That's K to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 12. Yeah, at the senior high school. All right. So it's graduating. And then once we're done with the curriculum, then we have been schooled. Done. But Elena says that education never truly stops. Our learning from situations, learning from our mistakes and our errors is continuous in life. It does not end. And no matter how old we get, education continues because learning happens through education and through experiences, right? Through our mistakes and our errors. Therefore, if we can do that, yes, let us school our students, let them pass and finish the key stages, but let them also acquire the skills so that they will learn from their mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes. No, let's integrate education. If you pass, what do you do? Why did you fail? All right. If you did not fail, are there other avenues at school for you to hone our other skills? Opo, may clubs and interests po tayo na pwede po makatulong sa total development ng bata. Okay? Next, Edward says it is planned and organized, required essential knowledge and skills and in skills needed to be functional and contributing members of society. Ibig sabihin po nun, in schooling, teachers and educators, kind of the same though. So let's just use the word educators in general. Educators sequence the teaching of skill, the knowledge and skills from the most easy and most basic, progressing on to the most complex knowledge and skills, building on top of all of this basic foundation, and then realizing that once the foundation would be John Dewey. He's a good friend of mine, but we did not have the pleasure of meeting because he died a long time before I was born. Okay, he said, "Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself." Okay, if we want our students to learn, to realize that what they are learning right now is the things that are the things that they need to have in order to function in society. So dapat daw lahat ng tinuturo natin sa school dapat merong immediate na application. The interest clubs and the student organizations allow our students to be able to, in a contrived environment, be able to apply these things and they apply all of that they have learned from the curricular programs to the curricular programs. All right? So hindi pwede po ang school na puro lang curricular programs. Okay? So ang mga bata siguro becomes linguistically and cognitively advanced, but I think they lack on the two domains, the social emotional domain and the physical, the ultimate goal of the K-12 curriculum, which is holistic, develop Filipino with the 21st century skills, with the word holistic. So the idea of holism is that students get see the meaning and the importance of what they're learning in school to their real life. So that's why I said strive